In case you don't know Studio Waldemeyer, let me give you a couple of lines of biography. So, as I say, they're based in London, founded in 2004 by Moritz, Waldemeyer, and later joined by Nazanin, Farahbod. They bring together art, technology, and light to create immersive installations and bespoke design work, of which we'll be seeing some in a few minutes. They've had the pleasure of collaborating with brands such as Audi, Bentley, and Panerai, and have worked on installations for the London Design Festival and La Rinascente. And they've created light-infused projects with musicians like JK from Jamiroquai and Ellie Goulding. And they seek to push boundaries between engineering and creative expression. Is that right? Did I miss anything?
Well, there's so many things to talk about, but those were definitely correct. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a crime to reduce it. Here's an obvious and perhaps stupid question, but why do you work with light? You know, what is the fascination, guys, with light? How did you come to this medium?
Well, light is everything. Without light, we don't have the ability of seeing things around ourselves. We cannot recognize the space. We cannot understand the dimension of things, how to move and how to use. So light is basically the first element we need the moment we open our eyes until we go back to sleep. And that is why we like to work with light and creating emotions out of lighting elements, objects, installations.
For you, Moritz, light is emotional?
Definitely, this is the aim with everything we do, is to create emotion. And the beauty of light is that it's a material, but it's immaterial, so you can transform a space without bringing anything in terms of sort of hard materials, apart from the light fixtures, obviously, that we just heard a lot about. But you can transform spaces without really changing the physicality of the space.
Which is great. I mean, if you get it wrong, you can change it. This is, designing with light is not like getting a tattoo or being an architect and actually building something physical. Once it's done, right?
Well, yes, you have the ability to change the content, I suppose, which is very interesting, especially nowadays with things getting quite technological, right? You have all of these control systems, and you can dial things even after you've installed the actual light sources.
Do you have a creative philosophy? Do you have guiding principles? The way you approach designing, creating with light, how does that differ from others, would you say?
It's very simple, actually. We target on emotion always. So we try to hide technology as much as possible and focus on how to create an emotional connection between the installation or product and people, and also the connection they have with themselves through the experience we try to create. Basically the philosophy of the studio is based on nature and observing the light and shadows and lines and how things need to be organic in the way that the connection between elements and the observer falls all into a natural way, despite the fact that many of our installations are very bold, with very bold colors as well. But the idea is to create a wow moment, so that is the philosophy of the studio.
And sometimes we take it to a total extreme. We might make people look directly at a naked PCB and yet make the technology disappear.
If we think about nature, you're not trying to replicate natural light in your work. Clearly, there's a lot of technical and technological understanding behind your work, but you're not trying to create the effect of natural lighting. You embrace the artifice.
Yeah, we take it as a starting point. We might observe something in nature, like movement or like a light source, or the way that a material interacts with light, and that might be the starting point, and then we see how we can translate that into an installation or into an object, but always going back to what inspired us in the first place, the observation we made in nature.
Are you nerds? are you nerds first and artists and designers second? Because really, there's no way you could do what you do without a very good understanding of technology.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's important to be both at the same time. The artist can come up with amazing ideas, but then they might not be fluent enough in technology to understand what technology is available and how to translate it elegantly into the vision in the first place. And the engineer might have the complete knowledge of the technology, but then they're really lacking in the conceptual side. And that's why we need both, really, in combination.
I want you to, because our time is limited today, I want you to tell us about some of your projects, how they came about, what the brief was, what the creative process was, and the challenges that you faced in realizing the project.
Maybe we talk about the candles, since they're just up on screen. It's a nice...
And on the side of your hat as well.
Oh, yes. I'm wearing one today. So the idea was the observation of the candle itself, the flame and the way that it moves. It's very natural, playful, and it's sort of like hardwired in our psyche, because this is really what made us stand apart from the rest of the animal kingdom, right? We're still part of it, but we've got this one thing that differentiates us, is the ability to use fire, both the light and the heat. And so then at the same time now we have this digital world, and I wanted to see how much can I reduce the fidelity, as in the resolution of the flame, without losing the essence. And that's how it all came about. And I started with a small prototype, and the very first prototype I showed to Ingo Maurer, and he's like, "Oh my God, we're going to do this!" And before I knew it, it was shown in Milan for Design Week, and then the next step was it was part of the MoMA collection, so it was like an instant hit.
Fabulous, yeah. and great that it was picked up by Ingo. Do you all know Ingo Maurer, the now sadly deceased? Fantastic lighting design visionary.
Yeah. And then we played with this idea, and we make chandeliers and installations, but then we also really geeked out with the technology, because the initial candles, also the Ingo Maurer candle, it's like a circuit board, and it's sort of, I call it metodo classico, of placing LEDs on a PCB. But then we actually deconstructed the LED, and we created a COB, as in chip on board candle, and that is our new product. We have access to this technology, which took a lot of R&D and finding the right partner. We had to travel very far away, because in Europe it's very difficult to do these things. So a lot of traveling, creating patents. So we have worldwide patents on this. So there's a lot of sort of work of engineering and sort of bureaucracy behind this very, very simple and beautiful little object that you can work with.
It's incredible that there's so much kind of thinking, as you say, and also bureaucracy, as you described, behind something that's so small and kind of delicate. Yeah. Tell us a bit about we're seeing a lot of cars here. This one is for Patrick, our Architonic CEO, because he loves cars and berates me for not knowing enough about them. Tell us about, this is a project that you've collaboration with Bentley, which is ongoing collaboration?
We have a very good working relationship with them. So the first time we got to work with them was on this 100-year anniversary show car. And this is obviously a project that only comes about once in a lifetime, to work on such a statement. And also it was the first time we got to work on a car design, as in working with the design teams. Up to that point, it was always very, very difficult to infiltrate that world. And so, we learned a lot.
And what did you do? What form did the
do you want to talk a little bit about
Naz?
So they came to us and they told us, you need to do something new for us for the 100-year anniversary. And normally clients come to us for something has never happened before. So that is the biggest challenge of the studio. And they said, we want to introduce light as the new luxurious material to the car industry. And you guys should design the exteriors and interiors of this important show car. And it was a very big responsibility, as you can imagine.
Huge, because to go back to what you said at the start, Naz, about emotions. I mean, in terms of the interiors, I mean, how the amazing affective or emotional effect you can create with a car interior, but on the outside, you have to respond to the demands of brand, of safety, I guess.
Yes, all.
I mean, there must be certain rules and regulations when it comes to how an indicator light or a brake light operates.
Oh, definitely. However, in this project, it was only a show car, so we didn't have those limitations. So that would make it absolutely wonderful because we
Look
could
at that,
express.
guys! That's amazing. The grille.
Yeah. So the grill has about 12,000 LEDs, right? The whole car,
there were a lot,
20,000.
yeah.
20,000 LEDs
LEDs
in total on the
in
car.
total, yeah. We did,
Fantastic.
basically all lighting is ours, exterior and interior of the car. Sorry, the slides changed, so this is another project.
That's incredible.
It was a beautiful project. We did another project with Lotus about lighting, a Lotus Elettre, and there were obviously limited because that went in production, so we had to keep in consideration.
It's making me want to take my driving test again and not fail this time. What's so fascinating about, among other things about you guys, you work across so many different sectors. We just saw, okay, tell us about this. This is JK from Jamiroquai, who, if you know him, he's famous for, among other things, for wearing hats.
And for collecting cars.
Yeah.
Oh, and collecting cars. Love. You should do my job. That's a great segue. From one sector. Is this a music video? What's this?
Well, that is part of the reason why we get on with him so well, because we have this shared passion for cars. So
right.
He sends me text messages when he buys a new car. Like, I get to see what he just bought. But so this was for the Automaton album, and he wanted to have this new persona, like very technological, and because that album is also a lot more techno than like his usual sort of his past music career. So we came up with this like all parametric, animated, both in terms of physical animation as well as light. So animated hat that he controls himself. He runs it almost like a puppeteer during the show. So that's why it becomes like so alive, like with his performance.
Oh, fantastic! But he's only one of the music artists that you worked with. I mean, I think we got a glimpse of Kylie there.
Yeah,
it's fascinating that the application of your work, I mean, that really lends itself to artistic performance, right? To performers.
Yeah, it's a bit part of the studio history because we worked with Swarovski very closely in the early years. And Nadia Swarovski, she paired us up with Hussein Chalayan, who in the fashion world is very famous for bringing technology onto the catwalk in Paris. And we were responsible for quite a bit of that technology. And that's how it happened that people in the music industry then came to us to do things for stage. And there was a period like in the early 2010s where we would be like the pioneers and we could do things for the very first time because the technology was just about to catch up, and we kind of created this technology as well in the studio. So a lot of these things we were able to do for the first time on stage, basically.
Do you and let's see if this works now with the AV guys behind us.
Oh yeah.
Here comes the question. Tell us about a failure. You show us your amazing work, but I mean, behind every success is, I'm sure, a good handful of mistakes, right? Things that don't work.
Definitely. Sometimes we need to repeat and repeat until we are happy with the result, for sure. But one of the biggest, let's say, heartbreaking times that we couldn't basically see a project being delivered publicly was when we designed a flying hat, actually a flying helmet.
Oh, this is it. This is it.
Yes, this is it.
Look.
Yes. It took us a whole summer because the deadline was like in October and the project has been signed off to us in June. And the helmet was on top of this other one and designed for an important theater in Germany. And at the end, we delivered this flying helmet. We have so many elements of these drones in the studio, how much we worked, because this is not a symmetric shape, so it's very hard to make it open and fly. And at the end, the security of the theater said, we don't want any drone in the theater. That was it.
Or because of health and
Health
safety.
and
Yes.
safety, yeah. There was one health and safety guy in the theater who hadn't been briefed on what we were doing for the show. And he showed up at the very end.
We
yes.
have to all build a time machine and go back to the 1970s where we'd all be smoking and no one would care if someone died. Guys, this is Germany. The timing is just strict. So we have to wrap it up there. But please give a round of applause to Studio Waldemeyer from
thank
London.
you.
You've been great guests. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon, for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.